Yeah, a very good afternoon and a warm greetings to all the participants for the session. Yeah, before we start the session, let's start with the fundamentals of research. Okay, the topic for today is effective thesis writing and the various techniques which are involved. Yeah, we are going to explore on those lines. Yet, to start with, what is research? Can anyone? What is research? You can use your chat box, you can unmute, and you can post your answers there. What is research? Can anyone? Any scholars? You can use your chat box, you can unmute. What is research? Anyone? Well, yeah. So let's move on. I will tell you what is research. Okay, I hope the screen is on and I'm audible. Research is searching for the facts, trying to find out solutions for the questions. Research is trying to find out answers for a problem which has been identified. Research is a systematic procedure which is adopted by the scholar. Okay, and it's done very systematically, methodologically, and that's where we call research methodology. Okay, it contains certain do's and don'ts and the procedure, right? So research is basically digging out some unknown facts, trying to find out, explore about, something which is not available, some information which is missing, found to be missing, critically analyzing with the proper support, etc. So research is all about trying to explore more. Okay, so that's where Albert Zeng Yorgi is rightly quoted. Research is something which is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. Yeah, seeing what everybody is seeing, but thinking what others would have not even thought about. That is research. That's where we always focus on scholars to improve and develop critical thinking. Critical thinking, which enables a person to go beyond the subject and explore more about it. It is something which is not being seen, observed, or you can say ignored by others. A researcher would focus on those lines. So that is research. Okay, now the present topic for this session is thesis writing and the techniques adopted. Okay, so before we move on again, let's see what is thesis. Let's try to first understand what is thesis. Now there are three things. One, dissertation. Second, thesis. Third, research report. Usually you come across, most of us come across in academics, dissertation, thesis, and research publications, research article, etc. What is this? And how is thesis different from this? Yeah, we move on to learn and explore on those lines as well. Thesis, when you talk exclusively about thesis, thesis is quite a long academic writing. Yeah, you heard it right. It's a long piece of writing, which comes up in a huge volumes book, more than 500, more than 1,000. Okay, so the academic writing, it is a compilation of all the academic writings in the process of research and submitted to the universities for the purpose of possessing a degree, for the purpose of getting a degree. And this thesis, when submitted, is supposed to possess some characteristics, out of which novelty is one prime characteristic. And how does it make any difference in the existing society? The outcome of the thesis is something again which is focused on. Okay, so thesis is an academic writing which is based on novelty, original work of the researcher. This is submitted at the end of the duration for the purpose of gaining the degree, PhD degree. The so-called submission is referred as thesis for the purpose of getting a PhD degree. Okay, now why do you need this thesis, dissertation, and research work? So before we move on to the need, let us understand in a very brief note what is dissertation and what is research project. So here, thesis, as I mentioned that it is a long piece of academic writing which is submitted to possess a degree like PhD. Whereas dissertations are those which are short term, which are submitted to the universities and colleges for the purpose of getting UG or PG degrees. And they are comparatively less number of pages as compared to thesis, where thesis is more number of pages. It may go up to 1,000 also. Whereas on the same lines, if you look at research projects are those projects which are taken up intentionally in order to solve a given issue or challenge faced by the society, or whichever subject you are looking for. So research projects are sponsored projects for which you will be paid, and it will remain continued for over a period of time as per the duration given by the sponsored agency, like ICSSR, ICMR, and many other inline NCRT, NPTEL, many inline. So you can have, you can propose a project, you will get approval. Upon getting approval, you start conducting your research. At the end of it, you will submit a research project report. That is research project report, which is submitted for the purpose which is meant for. Okay, you are asked to do a research on so and so, universal problem for which you are asked to find out the solution. So hence you are carrying out. Okay, that is research project report. Dissertation is a piece of research, research kind. It is more or less like the same procedure which is adopted for the thesis, yes, but at a very nominal scale, very low, very low level of involvement or low level of research when implied methodology, because this is meant for UG and PG projects and any other projects which are to be submitted to the universities and colleges for the purpose of obtaining the particular degree. And thesis, as I mentioned earlier, again I am repeating, it is a piece of information, a very long piece which is submitted to the universities for the purpose of getting PhD. Okay, that is thesis. I hope the meaning of dissertation, thesis, and research project is clear. So with this, let's move on to understand why do you need all this. Now, firstly, academic requirement. Why do you need dissertation? Number one, you need dissertation in order to submit it for the purpose of fulfillment of that degree. If you don't submit your dissertation, your degree will be held. So for that. Similarly, thesis also academic improvements, developments. When you look at for a faculty, you have to conduct, you have to develop yourself in the form of possessing the PhD, post followed by research projects, etc. Research projects, yes, this is again required for a faculty for continuous developments in their profiles. They have to develop themselves, get proper grades for promotions, etc. So for that, research projects are also a part of it. Then Learning research methodology. Yes, for dissertation, thesis, and research methodology, the next requirement is research methodology is what we learn. Slightly, there is a difference between all these three. Dissertation, when you look at the research methodology adopted by the respective universities and the colleges. Thesis, again, it is confined to the universities with which you are registering. Whereas research projects, yeah, methodology is nothing but a method, process, which is adopted. Again, this methodology in case of research project differs from agency to agency. Now, whatever methodology they are intending to, you have to adopt it as a scholar. Okay. Next need comes as critical appraisal of data. Yeah, sometimes it happens that you're not satisfied with the data and you wanted to explore more about it, and that becomes a need for your that becomes a need for your present submissions. It can be in the form of research projects, it can be dissertation or thesis, a big question mark in your mind on the data which is supplied, and so you end up conducting a research. Next comes publication. Publication, yes, for a dissertation, students nowadays we see from at various colleges, schools, management schools, etc. B schools, so called, they are being upgraded and motivated continuously to do the publications at various national and international journals, conferences and seminars, etc. So for that reason also, they have to conduct the research and publish it. That gives us an improvement, additional credits they will be getting for doing this. So that way, for thesis, if you look at two publications across all the universities, it is mandatory that the scholar do go for 2 publications. Okay, next is research grants and research career. And our research grants and research career is to strengthen our place in the society of academic. Okay, and you become a role model, you attain a level, okay, and getting promotions, identified as a researcher, or gives a lot of monetary and non-monetary benefits. So hence for that purpose also, one has to get involved in either in thesis or in research projects, right? I hope this significance or say need, why it is required is clear. Okay, now let's move on to understanding of what are the differences between dissertation and thesis and research projects. See, number 1, requirement. Now, requirement at every stage it differs. In case of dissertation, the requirement is, in terms of dissertation, it is required to be submitted, mandatory requirement. It is a clause. Every student has to submit this in order to obtain the so-called degree, whether MBA, post-graduation or UG, etc. Right? For thesis, yeah, PhD, since you have registered for that degree, you need to. This is for your academic improvements and developments also. Short-term projects, as in individually, you want to improve your, academics, you are preferring to do a research project on. So that is the requirement of dissertation, thesis, and short-term. Duration. Now, when we look at the dissertation duration, it somewhere longs between 6 months to 2 years. Whereas thesis, it is 3 to 4 years, and here it differs from university to university. And you can go for extension after the dates. That is in secondary information provided. Then we have research projects. Research projects again depends upon the agencies. Again, these are somewhere between 2 years, 1 year, 2 years, sometimes even for short term also research projects comes up. Okay, if you are able to do in that particular duration, you will be assigned and will be given that project. Okay, you should be in a position to perform all those complete research projects and come out with an outcome within the duration. So duration plays a vital role in understanding what is dissertation, thesis, and research project. Then we have research methodology. Yeah, methodology is focused very briefly in dissertation, whereas Absolutely, 100% methodology is being followed while you're writing thesis. In terms of research project, your methodology will change and differ because of the influence of the agency and the problem that they have assigned, for which you have to find out the solution. Next is research outcome. Yes, dissertation sometimes may not be focused on research outcome, but yes, thesis is focused as well as research projects are also focused. Like, because without any intention, the research projects will not come up. Okay, with some problem and identification of some queries or critical thinking only, the research projects are taken up. So that way, research outcome is focused in case of thesis and project in research projects. Next, we have hypothesis. For dissertation, thesis, research projects, for all of the three, if you ask me, hypothesis is mandatory. For all of them, the hypothesis should be framed and should be followed, because all these three seems to be, digging out more information, with authenticity. Now, in this scenario, setting up of hypothesis should be adopted in all the three cases so as to ensure the transparency and authenticity. Focus on authenticity. Okay. Next is novelty of research. Now, novelty of research, in case of dissertation, it is not that mandatory, but for thesis and research project, it becomes mandatory. Novelty means, yes, the topic that you have taken should be novel, unique. Okay, it should be unique in terms of, the present scenario. It should be applicable and suitable in the given condition. Okay, then it is called as novel, and such becomes mandatory in case of thesis and research writing. Evaluation and defenses, yes, for dissertations, the focus is not on defensions, but for thesis exclusively, defense becomes quite important. That is the time where you are called for vivavos and defensive. I mean, in defending your hypothesis methodology, you have to talk. Questions will be raised on these various lines: the duration, methodology, outcome, hypothesis, and novelty. Now, here the time comes where you have to defend your thesis. Now, this defension again should be purely connected to and based on the methodology that you are adopted. After which, evaluation will be done. Based on the evaluation, you will be either awarded or you will be asked to modify the present submission, which is in the form of either dissertation, thesis, or research project. In case of research projects, defense is not given priority because these are agency-based work. They intend to identify a solution to a given problem. So hence, defensive evaluation is done, but defensive is given least important here. Okay, whereas in case of dissertation and thesis, in thesis, if you look, defensive is of high priority. Okay, is that clear? Differences between dissertation, thesis, and short-term project. Any doubts until here? Anyone, any doubts until here? Yeah, very good. I think I have received 2 responses. Research is discovering new things, search of knowledge. Very well said. Yes. Excellent. Okay, so let's move on to how do you focus on what are the nodes, points at which you have to be careful while writing the research, and how do you basically start writing the research. So the whole process of writing this thesis is divided into 10 steps. Number 1 is selecting a research area and guide or so-called supervisor. Now, this depends and differs from university to university. See, some universities, they allot the supervisors. At some places, you are given external option as well, external supervisor as well. So, in case if you are registering, you have to read thoroughly the guidelines which are being supplied to you with respect to selecting the guide and supervisor. Selecting the topic or a research area is totally left to you. Your choice it is, the candidate's choice. Okay, that is step one. Now, step two is now you have to check in the various requirements for conducting the research. The topic which you have selected. Do you have sufficient facilities? Do you have the resources, the infrastructure, etc.? If you have, then you are you can relax and then you can move ahead. Okay. Otherwise, you look in for some agencies who will fund your project. So that way you can obtain or get grants on your research work. Yeah, current PhD scholars also will get grants from UGC and different other agencies who supports their research work. Besides the research work which is carried out by the for the agencies like ICSSR, they do fund the research projects totally. Besides, scholars also can get the scholarships, etc., in order to support the various resources, facilities, because here you need so many books to refer, library facilities, if not books exactly, you need library facilities where you can borrow and read books, where you need computers, you need white papers, you need a lot of PDFs to be downloaded, internet, PC, mobile network, etc. So, a PC with all the network, some softwares you need like to analyze the data. So for all that you need, you need to check your facilities, whether you have all this, a printer to take print, books to read, all this you need, right? So you have to look in for these two things in the step two. Next step three is now come down to write your objectives. Objectives are those statements which are the next, they're basically emerged from the researchable questions. Okay, they're emerging from the researchable questions, and out of the extensive literature review that you would be carrying out, they will be the outcome of it. So research objectives, whatever you have planned for, that you need to write. And in step three, you have to check out the protocol which is followed in the university. Okay, protocol involves step-by-step procedure which is followed at the university levels, colleges, schools, wherever you are submitting your thesis, dissertation, or research paper. That particular agency, could be university, could be college, you have to check out the protocol. Protocol is by step-by-step procedure, how to do, what to do, next what to do, when should you submit, how do you approach, and the various obligations that the candidate has to fulfill over a period of time. So that you need to know thoroughly. Okay, that is second. And fourth is approval of the institute. Approval of the institute review board, ethics committee, registering with clinical trial registry. So in case some, botany, chemistry, or zoology, or say, microbiology related, if any projects are being taken up, you need to get the approval from that respective committee or the institute. Okay, then only you will be allowed to do. So that approval, whether you will be in a position to do it or not, you have to check. Okay, that you have to check, cross-check and verify whether you will be getting all, you will be in a position to get all these or not. And then you have, then you move on to next step, which includes conduct of research as per the study design. Now, in the fourth step, you will get approval, right? That approval is termed as research design, RD. Okay, once you are done with your RD, research design, next step you move on to fifth step, where fourth step, whatever you are getting approval, that is research design, that is generally referred as plan of action. Okay, it's a blueprint of how you have to move towards your writing your thesis and submitting. So that fourth step, now you will implicate it in step 5. Now it is time for you to follow the plan of action. Okay, one by one, you have to put them in practice and start conducting the research. Okay, now step 5 involves conduction of research. Now, how you conduct the research, all those in detail will be planned in RD. That is step 4. You just have to follow it. Next step 5, and then next you move on to step 6, which is where the researcher will collect all the data. Sometimes it is primary, sometimes it is secondary, sometimes it is blended, both primary and primary and secondary. So depending on what sort of data you will be collecting, you will have that all plan in your step 4. Okay, you'll be doing the complete planning in step 4. Same thing you will be moving on by taking up one after the other steps into practice, putting up all of them into practice. So collecting data and storage it in an organized way will be in step 6. Then you will also go for statistical analysis. Now, sometimes it is outsourced, sometimes the candidates themselves learn and do. Okay, now it depends on how you're doing, whether you do or you're outsourcing, taking the help of some experts in order to carry out the statistical analysis. That depends. So whatever it is, in whichever case it is, whether you do or you're outsourcing, step 6 should be collecting and analyzing. Okay, next, moving on to step 7, now structuring the material. Now you've got so much material across. You organize them. Okay, now 7th step, you will organize them very systematically and meaningfully under various headings like units, chapters, subheadings, headings, etc. So this way, you will be able to start writing your thesis from the page 1, which includes designing of page 1, certification, acknowledgement, and followed by the various appendixes, and then you have your chapters or say units, etc. That is step 7. Next, step 8 involves editing the thesis content. Now you finished writing everything. I mean, you organized everything and you have put them all under various heads. Now it is ready. Now, this is just one attempt, right? Second attempt, what you have to do is you have to check the content, do editing. Now you have to check in for language. You have to, check in for ambiguities, like avoiding mistakes, duplications, repetitions, plagiarism, all that you need to do checking for. Okay, so step 8 involves either you do it or you outsource it or you get it done by your friend. Like sometimes we see that scholars end up giving for proofreadings. Now, proofreadings is wherein whatever you write, they try to read it, and for which during the time of readings, they will understand various mistakes that they come across, some meanings, phrases which are wrongly framed, etc. will be identified and will be corrected. That is step 8. Okay. Once the proofreading is done, whether you do or you're outsourcing, you move on to next step, which is 9. And in this 9, you try to go for plagiarism check. What is plagiarism check? Anyone here do you know about plagiarism? Plagiarism is, what is plagiarism? Well, plagiarism is a check which is done on your content writing, what you have written, The content will be processed in the software which you upload, followed by you will be given in the form of outcome, a report will be shown to you, which includes some green and light red color underlining, green color underlining, font, etc., which indicates that you have copied from so and so source. Like on online, when you copy certain material from Google, etc., as it is you are copying and pasting it in your content, plagiarism check will identify those lines. And in this process, it will give you, yes, it will give you red lines and green lines, which indicates that you have copied. It not just, highlights those lines, but also will give you the sources, the links from where it is being copied. Now, with this, the candidate will be in a position to understand how much amount of content is copied. Okay, now it gives the results in the form of percentages. Sometimes some universities have a slab of 0 to 10, 0 to 15, and 20%. Not beyond 20%. I have seen any universities offering plagiarism, but 20% is the maximum limit. So what this means is here, 20%, up to 20% is okay. But beyond that, it is not okay for you to copy the content as it is. So here you are shown the copied content highlights in the form of red and green. Now what you are supposed to do is, you have to check the content again, develop it, improve it, and go for the check. If it is exceeding 20%, you have to do the content writing again. You have to recheck, redo your content. If it is below 20%, again, I repeat, the university to university differs. Some universities prefer only 10%, 5 to 10%. Some up to 15%, some up to 20% is okay. So that case, you have to check. And once you're done with all those, you have to go for the next stage, where copyrights, acknowledgements, disclosures, you will be mentioning about all this. That's your step 9. Last step is 10th step, where you are completely ready with your content. Now it is time for you to publish your content in some leading journals, or in the form of book also. You can go for publishing. And you should be also getting ready for presenting your work in the conferences and seminars as well. Okay, so thesis writing, how should you start? Okay, step by step is explained in 10 different steps. I hope it is clear. And now let's move on. If any queries, you can stop me, or otherwise we'll move on to the next step. Now, broadly, if you look at thesis, it includes this. Step by step, you understood now how you should start your work. Now, the physical appearance of your thesis, when you open, it will contain these elements. What are those elements? Number 1, front matter. What does it front matter include? Title page and abstract page, and any other related information pages it includes. Next, it contains introduction page. Okay, this is title page. It includes dissertation title, your, the title of the thesis. Like today's title is Effective Thesis Writing and Technique, that is title. Below your title will be your name, candidate's name, document, department, and the institution to whom you are submitting, degree of program, date of submission. All these details you hold in title page. Next is acknowledgement. Okay, acknowledgement is a page where you will be acknowledging all the help which is being extended to you in your journey from the scratch till date. That is your completion and submission. who all helped you directly and indirectly. All of them should, you know, should be acknowledged for their help in the acknowledgement page. Now, this page need not be so sophisticated. Can be done used with using sophisticated English language. You can be very less formal, because not just your academic group of people who help you, unacademics, like non-academicians, like it can be your family, extended family, friends, etc. Whoever will help, you will start writing thanks note for everyone, directly, indirectly, to help you, including pets, children, extended family, maids, family members, friends, academicians, outsourcing jobs, what all help you received, which made this work possible today. For all of them, you will extend your help. Various seminars, conferences, your teachers, gurus, from the day one since you started till that day, last day, all of their names can be taken up, and you can compile your acknowledgement. Then followed by, you'll have a page of abstract, which includes minimum of 300 words. I repeat words here, 300 words to 500 words. And again, this differs from conference to conference. You please look at the guidelines which will be supplied and follow it. Okay, basically you will see 300 to 500 words. Now this includes what? Main topic, methods which are used, a brief summary of the complete results, and conclusions. Yeah, don't mistake it with or combine it with the introduction which you are giving in the next pages. It is abstract. It is not introduction. Okay, introduction of the subject is different. Abstract of the research is different. Okay, and the content of the abstract is 4. You have to include 4 things into it. Number 1, topic. Number 2, methods. Number 3, summarize. And 4th one is conclusion. That is abstract. Next pages which will be available are table of contents. Now, what do you have in table of contents? List of all the sections. The table of contents include all the lists, chapter 1, headings, subheadings, etc., etc. Right? Very clear and very neatly to be presented. This you can, the candidates can use Word document and the features which are provided, which will enable you to auto-generate the content page. That you can use it. Yeah, one next page will be dedicated to abbreviations. Abbreviations are the short forms which we end up using in our thesis. Now, for any short form that you are using, you have to give the full form of it. Not in the every page that you are using. More oftenly, suppose if you are using a short form very frequently, instead of that full form, you are using abbreviation. But here, your thesis should be self-explanatory. It should give an idea of what that abbreviation meaning is. So hence, an abbreviation page includes list of all those short forms that you have been used in the thesis. Likewise, definitions, and these are all put up in the alphabetical order, A to Z. Okay. Now, the most commonly used abbreviations, etc., should be ignored. Okay, and very specifically, subject related and the research related oriented, any thing is available, immediately you have to quote them in the abbreviations in the order of A to Z. Next comes glossary. Glossary is of all the definitions which you use again in the thesis, the complete thesis, repeatedly or oftenly, whatever it could be the frequency of that word that you're using. But if it is a new word and there is a new term which is what you're using in the thesis, so immediately ensure that you mention it in glossary with the meaning. That is glossary. Then comes the next set of pages, which is called as main part. Now, main part includes introduction, and this introduction includes, introduction here means the topic, background work, scope, relevance, researchable questions and objectives, and the whole structure as to how your thesis looks like should be included in the introduction. Next is literature review. Now, for the literature review, the various sources, the critically evaluated resources, conclusions, how you have written, okay, and on what basis is this present study. All those reviews in a very neat order, concisely, precisely, putting all the reviews you have to mention. Systematic review and unsystematic review, there are two popular. Now, whichever you are using and you are asked to use as per your university requirements, you can go ahead. Next comes the theoretical framework, which is, huge pile of work. This includes the theories, concepts, models, your own approach, methodology that you adopted. All this, one by one. The methodologically basically includes how you are collecting data, from whom you are collecting, what are the various tools, materials, obstacles that you are facing. All that you'll have to mention in the form of scope and limitations under methodology. Okay, and then you have a results section where you talk about objectives and results. Results are, things which talks more about the outcome. Okay, what did you attain? Then a discussion based on your interpretation of results. Here at this level, you will be in a position to know whether what was expected from you, did you attain it? Did you reach it? Have you been able to establish a proper framework? Something else which unexpectedly have resulted out of your research, the limitations, all this you can focus on discussion paragraphs. Finally, you conclude it with the answers for the main questions that you have drafted, suggestions for future. If you would have not been able to contribute, what were the reasons? You try to focus on those lines of significance. But in conclusion, you will never use your data, interpretations, and arguments. You will conclude very precisely stating the research question and how you were able to attain that. All right. So first part, first pages. Second part, main content. And the third part, that's Zen part, includes references, which includes list of all those dissertations which you have referred, thesis, research papers. Yeah, all those you have to make a list. Now, how to write the references? You can refer research methodology textbooks by Kothari, Krishnaswamy, and many other authors, and learn how to write references. It should be double spacing. Title should be in italics, inverted commas. And the popular styles of writing the references is APA and MLA. This again here, please make a note. Again, it depends on the university. Most popularly is APA style. But again, some universities have their guidelines where they state you have to follow MLA, you have to follow APA, like that they do mention. Other than these two, there are few others which also they may look in for. So you have to look in very clearly about this information and follow the same. Okay, so citations also. Next is appendices. Okay, after references is appendices. Now, what are appendix? All those information which you cannot fit in your thesis, tables, graphs, additional information at global level, international level that you used for understanding and drafting your abstract and introduction stage. Such information which couldn't be fit in the thesis part, those informations you try to append them under the heading called appendices. And these appendices again can be named based on the nature. Sometimes if you have some transcripts, like if you have conducted interviews, you will have transcripts. Yes, they possess as a documentary proof that you have conducted interview, right? So you have to append them. So in that case, you put up a heading as Appendix 1 and Appendix 2. And what does Appendix 1 include? Suppose in there are survey questions. It includes survey questions. So give the heading as survey question. Appendix 2 as transcripts. So all the transcripts from your interviews that you have conducted, append them all together. Then Appendix 3. If you have some tables, name them as table, Appendix 3, tables, and put all those tables which you could not fit in the thesis. So those all information which you could not give them a place in your thesis can form a place, can be put up in the appendix page. All right. Yes, so I will show you again the layout. Please do concentrate here. I will show you here. So thesis contains 3 main pages. Number 1, this is front pages, which includes title page, acknowledgement, abstract, table of content, abbreviations, glossary. All right. Then comes the second part of thesis, which includes main part, introduction, literature review, theoretical framework, methodology, results, discussion, conclusions. And the last set of part, which is references and appendices. Basically, you see thesis consists of 3 parts. 1, first pages, 2nd, main content, 3rd one, end part. Is it clear to everyone? Yes. I will show you one form. It's a first page. Sorry, this is an article. Yes. Meanwhile, if anyone, any queries, you can raise up your queries. Yeah. See, you can see. This is the first page, which includes the logo, the name of the university, etc. Then you have declaration page. Okay. Then how the declaration, again, the format and all you can collect from your respective, universities or colleges. Then you have acknowledgement page, which is again, as I mentioned, it depends, very informal piece of paper which gives a lot of information of all those people about who helped you directly and indirectly. And then see, you have content page. Okay, and this content page, you can see it includes the title, page numbers and the serial numbers. Then you have list of all the tables. Then you have list of all the graphs or figures. And then start the main content. These are all the first pages. And you see first pages, even this page numbers are also given in a different format. Unlike for the next pages, they will be in a different form. See, this is numbered with 1, 2. Whereas first set of pages are numbered in the Roman. Here you can see 1 to 8. These pages are set of first pages. Okay, these are first pages. And this is, from here it starts main content, which is divided into various units. Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, etc. Okay, and then you have last pages. So, bibliography, which included references. If it is APA style, basically what you do is select the content. Okay, in Word I can show. Select the content if it is APA style. Show you here. Yeah, this is already in APA style I have done. See this one. References, in case if this is PDF, I can't change here. So what you have to do is this content, if you copy it in Word and select whatever content that you want to change into APA style. Basically, what you can do is just go to this paragraph and do double spacing, give double spacing and select hanging. This one, special is there, no? This tab, you click on hanging. Okay, double spacing and click OK. After which, select this title and change it to italics within inverted commas. This is how basically you can go for references in APA style, which is more popular. Okay, across many universities and colleges, APA style is the most preferred way of referencing. After referencing, you have even bibliography, etc. Bibliography is something which is not, used. Bibliography is set of references, books, articles, journals, newspapers, etc., which you might have not used yet. You wanted to write. So that kind of material, all that you can write it under bibliography section. Okay, under bibliography section, you can write all of them. Next is after bibliography, you have appendix. Appendix, as I mentioned, you can quote them, divide them into various sections, and then you can accordingly, give the title and name them. Okay, so that's how you can do your referencing style, appendix, and bibliography. All right, so here I am now open for questions. If any questions, please feel free to ask. If you have any questions.